5, 16, 19, 21, 33, and 10. Check results. You remember?
A podcast a day. I don't know why I'm doing like a show tunes theme. That's not going to be a running thing. Podcast a day. Welcome back to the fourth day now, Boxing Day. And Boxing Day is nice. I was saying before, you kind of get to enjoy anything you gave or got given. You kind of get to enjoy those things. It's the first day of getting to enjoy whatever those things were. You just get to chill out, lie down. I actually prefer the meal we have. Everyone has got different meals. I don't know. That's like it's a universal thing. Like we all get the same dinner and we all get the same meal. But I actually prefer the dinner we get on Boxing Day than the one on Christmas Day. So that's a plus. It's basically just all the things I like from the Christmas dinner. But more. So more pigs in blankets. No turkey or anything like that. It's literally just pigs in blankets with chips. And like bread, like warm bread, butter. I'm a big bread guy, so good bread, butter just melts into it. It's just, and I got to do this quick because I got some left and I'm not trying to reheat, but I'm probably going to have to. But something a little bit off piece for me. I'm the type of guy, I'll be out on Christmas Eve because last minute Donny. Out on Christmas Eve, would never really leave the house on Christmas, like maybe to walk the dog, but that's a rare. I just don't want to see anyone. Like I just feel like if you're from like out in the countryside, it's not uncommon to be like hello, like to people as they walk past you, because there's not a lot of people. So you can be out walking your dog and then see no one. You could be out walking your dog and someone will walk past you, and so hey, good morning, say it back, and people think that's nice and stuff. But it's just not. If you live in a city, it's just not going to happen. You're passing people all the time. You're not going to say hello to everyone, and it's not rude to not say hello to strangers you don't know in the morning. It's rude if they say hello and you just don't say hello back. But you can just not say hello to people. That's fine. Yeah, but I feel like on Christmas Day, I'd feel there'd be like an awkwardness that if I saw someone about to walk past them and I'm walking my dog, am I meant to be like Merry Christmas? Like, it's just I don't want to. The mental gymnastics that I don't want to think about. So I don't leave on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve. But Boxing Day is also a day I do leave on Christmas Eve, not on Boxing Day. And then fucking hell. Should we try this one last time? And this time try and get the order right. Do leave on Eve, not on Christmas Day, not Boxing Day. But today I did indeed leave the house. And not only did I leave the house, I went to Oxford Street, Oxford Circus, Piccadilly Circus, Trafalgar Square, that whole area. And let me tell you, it is a shit show. I'm like, London is busy at the best of times, and I assumed around this period, around the time I went and we were there, it'd be pretty quiet. It was not quiet. It was not a nice time. Once you got past, I'm not going to go too deep into the details of it. Once you got past, certain parts were fine. There was other parts where it was literally sardines. Like you couldn't walk. Like you had to like physically stop and just stand there for a while because it was so tightly packed. There were so many people just bleeding out into the roads and so it was horrible. And it's like, for what? Are people really all just there for like some Boxing Day deals? Because firstly, you can just do that online. There's deals online, and maybe there's better ones in the store. Sure, if that's the case. And you might be thinking, well, some people, they get some gifts. They don't give some gifts on Christmas because tight, really, really tight on money, but still want to get certain things. So they want to get Christmas gifts, but in the Boxing Day deals. So they go out and do that. That's fine, but that's not what this was. Like, I'm sure people are having to do that, but they're not doing it fucking Tottenham Court Road. You know what I mean? They're not doing it in central London. They're doing it wherever their local areas. They're going down to local, like, department store or whatever, and they're picking up the thing 50% off or whatever it is. This, by the way, that's not a theory. We weren't... there were... The people you were trapped on these streets with, it was imprisonment, right? You couldn't cross the road if you wanted to. If you were in the middle on this pavement that was thick with 4 Cs, you were there and you weren't leaving there, right? It was like actual traffic jam of people. And being around these people, look, they weren't not wealthy. Let's just say that you could tell. These were rich rich pricks, and it's like you're clearly wealthy. You've clearly got money. You've got the Selfridge bags all in your hands and stuff. You're clearly a rich guy. Why are you rushing out to get deals? You might be asking, what was you doing there? I wasn't there to buy anything. I wasn't. I was literally just. I was just walking through, and got caught in the crossfire. Those shops, discount or not discount, will bleed you dry. Right? It's not cheap. It's not gonna be cheap. But these people, like, just rich guys, like expensive cars and like all sorts for what, 25% off. Like, I would have assumed you guys are the upper 1%. I would have assumed you guys don't need it. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of tourists there as well, like a lot of people taking photos of the Christmas lights and stuff, a lot of people just taking pictures. But no, it felt like majority of people, because usually when you're out in central London, I feel like you see a lot of Asian people, or like in terms of like tourists who are usually there, or maybe they just live here. Maybe that was Brexit racist of me. Maybe they do just live in central London. A lot of Asian people do live in central London. I don't know how they afford the rent there, or how, if the rent's even worth it, because I know those rooms ain't big. But there is also a lot of Asian tourists, a high percentage of Asian tourists in London. So usually that's quite a high number. I don't feel like, I mean, I wouldn't be able to tell, I guess, if there was a high percentage of like French tourists, because unless I speak to them, I won't know they're French. This is besides the point of what I was trying to say. What I was trying to say is it was like 90% white British people, just dirty rich people, out getting more shit for Christmas or just for life. I don't know, but it was hell, man, and I don't wish it on my worst enemy. Maybe I do actually. It wasn't that bad. That's actually, I mean, I was being dramatic, but that probably is a little bit like my worst enemy. I don't know who my worst enemy is. So let's just say it's a public figure. Let's just say my worst enemy is like a I don't know, like a well-known terrorist, because I haven't got any personal real enemies. I wouldn't wish walking in a crowd on like a terrorist. That's probably a bit of an exaggeration, but I probably would. Either way though, I was thinking as well, because yesterday on Christmas the setup is usually you get the food there, and there's like all the main food on the plate, and then extras if you want to go in for extras. So it'll also be bowls like potatoes and stuff, and there'll be like crackers. I'm not still talking about the white people. There'll be like the ones you pull. Again, not the people, that would be inappropriate. The crackers you pull, the stuff inside the little hat. Although the crackers we got this year were tiny, I don't think anyone pulled them. They probably just went in the bin. Damn, I actually wish I should have pulled them, but no one pulled any of the crackers. They were tiny. We forgot to buy them, and then the crackers were literally the size of like they were like the size of like an average penis. Why am I? Yeah, but they weren't big crackers. Basically, a cracker is meant to be like the size of a ruler, or bigger. Why am I getting into the details of this? Whereas like, so you have all the stuff there, but then this year everyone on their plate had like a scratch card along with their food. So along with like your plate with the food on, the cracker, like a napkin, your cutlery, like your knife and fork. I'm not acting. There's not a set of cutlery. Just the Christmas setup, and then the food would dashed around, and you got like the cloth over the table, because the table looks fucked. So we've had this table for far too long; it's ugly as shit. So you put the Christmas cloth over the table, whatever. Along with it was like a scratch card, because why not? That'd be fun, right? Scratch it off. Everyone scratched off the card. Anyone win any money? And everyone had a scratch card, and we had like, I think on Nan was. I'm saying I think like I wasn't yesterday. On Nan was here, which isn't usually the case. Usually we don't have people around, and we don't go around people's houses on Christmas, but our Nan was here, and it was like a last minute decision thing. So yeah, she had a scratch card. She sat where my mum would have sat, and therefore got my mum's scratch card. And this is just, no one's thinking about this. This isn't a thing, but I was thinking about it. I was like, look, none of us are gonna win money here, right? And I'm not wishing against my Nan to win money. I'm not against that, like, she's a horrible wicked witch who doesn't deserve cash. You know what I mean? But there was a part of me like, imagine one of us did win. Firstly, that'd be such a little great bit of Christmas fun. Someone's just won the lottery. I don't think it was huge amounts of money. Like, it wasn't like millions, but like still, any kind of money. It would be like, I think if it was like £100, £500, it'd be like, I mean, I wish I had it, but it's not like life changing. But even in like even let's say it was like 50 grand. Like you can't live off 50 grand. You know what I mean? Like this is the way you could if you want 80 million, you could just quit everything and live off that for the rest of your life. If you want 50 grand, though, it's still like whoa, like my whole year, my whole next year, like shit's looking different. You know what I mean? Depending on how you're doing. And it was just like, imagine not only one of us wins, but the person who wins was the nan who is sitting where your mother would have sat, meaning that would have been her scratch card, meaning, and then like, then expand that, explode on that. Imagine you have a relative you really don't like, a dirty weirdo uncle, or like some old racist grandparent, or someone you just don't want around, you know, like, or like, say you got loads of people around at Christmas and there's like 15 of you, and you got like your aunt's ex or like your mum's ex who like cheated, and you just think they're a real dodgy guy, and they showed up last minute, so they take someone's chair who was meant to be sitting there and they scratch it off, and let's say they win like 2 mil. What do you do in that scenario? Do you say, this is our house, we walk the scratch cards, you just scratched off the 2 mil, but you know, gimme, like, that's like maybe a dodgy move, but like, I know you scratched it, but I bought it, give me, like, he technically won it, but we don't like him, give me the money. Like, that would actually be a great plotline in like a sitcom or something, or like a TV show. Everyone's around for Christmas. Oh, mum usually sits there. Oh, it's alright. You just take my seat. I'll just sit on the end. I'll sit on the corner. He scratches off 2 million. What is the right thing to do in that scenario? Do you get to take the scratch card back and be like, mine? Maybe I'll give you some. Maybe I'll chuck you 10 bags. Or do you let them walk out the door with that 2 million? They technically scratched it. Game's the game. That's been running through my head. Spoiler alert, we all won fuck all, so doesn't matter. Yeah. Another thing I saw actually on Twitter, if we just want to talk about things I've seen Christmas related, and in general, is that I feel like when you're a kid, you always assume being rich is what's the best, and obviously being a rich kid over being not rich would be good, in the sense that you got all the opportunities. You pretty much get everything you want. You could argue that makes you spoiled or dents your character or whatever. But getting all these things, right? You know, everyone would rather be rich than not rich. But when it comes to Christmas, I actually feel like being rich just sucks. Like not sucks. Like, you're still having a significantly better Christmas than most of the nation. But in the terms of your Christmas compared relatively like to every other day you have of the year, it's not fun. Like, when you're a kid, Christmas is like, oh, you can't sleep and you're up so early, and it's like you're gonna open these presents and you get something. Like, I asked for it and I really wanted it, but I didn't know if mum was gonna get it, and she got it, and it's like, oh my god, you're so happy, I guess you're running around, you're a child, and it's fun, and it instills this magic in you of loving Christmas, and then you want to get gifts for people and then recreate that whole thing that you had when you was like little and you loved it and stuff, and getting, it's just the fun of it, the food, and just, you know, the TV, or whatever you watch, everything being Christmas themed, and like the lights up, and it's nice, right? It's nice. Now, if you're rich, anything you ask for, you pretty much can get or don't need, because the whole thing about getting older and why it's less fun to receive gifts is because you start to just get a job and you just start to have your own income, and you can buy stuff when you want stuff. So like, when you're younger, it's like, oh mum, I want this game. There's £50. I'll never earn £50. I'm 7. Whereas if you're like 20 and even if you work at like on minimum wage, I like McDonald's is more than minimum wage, but like a cinema, because I work there at minimum wage, it's like £50. You'd make like 60 quid in a day, which is shit money, but you'd make like 60 quid in a day. So technically, you'll just buy that. Like, the end of the month comes, you get paid like 800 quid or whatever it is. You just buy the game. It's 50 quid out of your 800. You just buy it. You know what I mean? So when it comes to Christmas, you just less stuff you want to know to buy for. So it's just less fun in that way. As a kid, you get. So being a rich kid, it's like you've already gotten all the things you would have asked for throughout the year anyway. Anything you do ask for, you know you're going to get on top of that. Then, like, another thing about it is you probably don't get a lot of toys and fun stuff as a kid. You probably just get given like bags. Like, oh, imagine you're 7, you open, oh, my Gucci belt, thanks. You know what I mean? It's not like fun. And what sparked this is when I saw, you know, that I don't know how performative this is, or like if he gets toys on top of that. and I don't know why I'm feeling sorry, but Lil Baby, right, who always, I'm saying on Twitter because he's always got someone going on with like, Lil Baby just bought this chain that's bigger than your house, and you could literally live in the house in the chain, it's so big, and the rent's more than your, and you know what I mean, always seen stuff about that with Lil Baby. And then he got his son, like he wrapped, like in a jewelry shop, classic looking jewelry shop, the one you rob in GTA, with like the cabinets, and in each cabinet there's like items on the showcase, like rings, maybe a chain, necklace, whatever. So it'll be like 10, 15 things in one cabinet, and then the next cabinet, and the next cabinet. And then the bank was robbing, they smash it with the end of the gun, they just grab the stuff out. He basically just took his son into a jeweler place, and then just put wrapping paper over one of the cabinets, and then the video is his son like pulling off the wrapping paper, and he just looks into the cabinet, and it's like not even just normal jewelry, it's like iced out, bust down fucking chains like you wouldn't believe, like not like just little rings that were all equal to like bags and bags and bags, but like a chain. It's one of the chains was like bigger than my cranium, bigger than Tory Lane's cranium. We can talk about that in a minute. Mental, like just the price of all that jewelry and all that stuff, huge. Like, but in terms of as a gift for like a 9-year-old child, it's the equivalent of on Christmas Day opening up like bonds. You know what I mean? Like here's some money to put into your future. You know what I mean? Here's some money to invest in. It's like, I'm 14. I just kind of wanted like a car I could race around. Lil Baby probably could buy son like an actual real Lamborghini. I'm talking about like a toy one. You know what I mean, from Toys R Us. He'd probably misread that and get him the real thing. And it's like, I can't drive. I don't know how I'm meant to do this. It's like, well, it's expensive and that's what you can get your kids and stuff. It's like, it's just for the kids. There's no magic on this day. It's like, oh, my dad's just bought me Africa, and so I got that now. You know what I mean? So. And I ain't talking links. I'm talking about the continent of Africa. So it's just like, I just reckon there's not much enjoyment in it. Like when I see footballers, because they're always posting their Christmases, like they're all in their matching pajamas in front of their Christmas tree. You look under the Christmas tree, and I guess maybe the more presents come overnight but it's like there's nothing under the tree. It's just like the tree. And I know presents don't usually, some people don't, like, we don't put presents on it on Christmas Eve. You'd get that, like, you wake up and they'd be there. That's part of like the magic. Whether you think it's Santa or your parents, whatever, it's just fun to wake up and then see it all. It's like, there's like, when you think about the presents, it's probably like a few bags from Selfridges. They exchange like a couple bags and some like designer t-shirts. And it's like, that's the day. It's like, there's no fun of it. You know what I mean? Like living on an estate, in like a flat, in a high-rise flat, that kid's Christmas Day is probably way more fun. Like he wakes up over the moon, because comparatively the rest of his days are just so like plain and whatever, whereas that kid's just always on a high, so it's just like his high just becomes his norm. You know what I mean? Do we talk about Tory Lanez, that whole thing with the Meghan and the dad screaming? Because I said cranium and it just reminded me of Tory Lanez's huge head and how it runs in his family, but I think that's why I actually wanted to sound it. Yeah, I think that was it. Tory Lanez has like a really huge head, and it does indeed run in the family. His dad and maybe brother or cousin share that head shape. Yeah. Also, Tory Lanez is extremely short, which I didn't realise before. I saw memes about it, but then when you actually saw him, when I actually took a deep dive, yes, he's a short man. That's all. That's my 2 cents on that one. But yeah. We're keeping the streak going. This is 4 days now in a row. I mean, I'm not going to be impressed with myself probably until I hit like, if I hit like 50 days without missing one from like I'll be impressed with that. Then you got to get to the 100. And once I get to 100, I wouldn't feel as bad about missing one. But you want to at least hit the milestone of hitting a 100 in a row without missing. When would the 100 come? It would come around 30 days in a month. It won't come until like midway. So. Like got like 10 days here, and then January would be like 40 days and then 70 by the end of February, and then by the end of March, early April, if you haven't failed at life, that is when the 100-day streak would have been achieved. But that is all. I'm gonna go eat my food. Probably have to reheat it now, so that's not great. Apparently you shouldn't do that. It's not good for you. But bacon is good for me. And after those iconic words from King Kenny, that'll be all.
here with the kids, and they have like 3 kids, and the geezer was probably on like maximum 20 bags a year. Like the most boring bloke you'll ever meet. He was like, Euros.